All right, what's going on, everybody? I hope everybody has been doing well, has been doing great. My name is Crew. I am the founder of the Black Lesbian Archives, and we are going to be talking about creating your own memory capsule here in Prezi today. Okay, we had a eventful month of May. Every Saturday, we met for about an hour and a half or so, and we talked about plenty of things, which I'll go over and cover in this video. And then following after the end of my brief presentation, because I promise y'all I'm gonna keep it real brief, I'm gonna keep it real simple, I'm gonna keep it real cute. Then we'll get into the breakdown of the Prezi and creating your own Prezi capsule or memory capsule. Now, if y'all have any questions and the duration before, or I say after you watch this video, please feel free to email me at blacklesbianarchives@gmail.com. I will try to get back as soon as I can to answer your questions. But it's a pretty simple. It's not too. It's like on a medium level. I wouldn't say not even a medium level. I would even say easy medium level, medium level. Okay, so once you get it down, you can go crazy, especially when it comes to creativity. So yeah, just kick back and roll with me. I'm gonna go ahead and hop right into it. Let me go ahead and pull up the memory capsule project real quick. Okay, so this is my personal, it's really an example of a memory capsule project that I wanted to kind of go into for right now. But yeah, this is what I have so far that I wanted to kind of show y'all, and what I've showed into our sessions that we had every Saturday, and what we discussed and what we talked about here. I hope the all of y'all that came to this memory capsule project really enjoyed yourselves. Please let me know as well before we get this thing started. Let me know when you're going through this, like if you want to write me and let me know if it helped you, if there's anything that you would like to see in the future, especially when we're talking about like just memory, storytelling, um, uh, archival building and things like that in your own creative way in your own communities, because I did run into a lot of communities that are in to archival preservation. So please feel free to contact me and hit me up. I will try to, like I said, I'll try to get back. Girl be moving a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And so yeah, let's go ahead and get this thing started. So creating your own memory capsules, Black Lesbian Archives, spring 2025. All right, let's get into it. So first and foremost, I just wanted to go over a quote that always has moved me. It's been on my head. When I say it's been on my head, it's been on my mind. It's been following me for years now. When I first heard it, I can't remember where I heard it from. But this quote always followed me, and it's something that I wanted to include because I think it just kind of ties a lot of what this presentation is about in. So it's the quote, "He who holds the pen creates the stories. He who holds the pen creates the stories." All right, and I'm going to read this quick quote real quick. They say history is written by the victors, but we're flipping that because today we hold the pen, right? When we hold the pen, we create the stories. We decide what gets remembered, we decide what gets passed on, and we decide what gets protected from distortion. When our communities are erased, it's not just accidental, but it's systematic. Okay. But the moment we write it down, record it, save it, print it, we are interrupting that erasure, which is again one of the reasons and prime reasons why I started this memory capsule project in the first place. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get deeper into this presentation here in this project. And we're not just writing for now, we're writing for the ones who come after, and we're writing so someone somewhere knows the truth of who we are and our full truth. Okay, y'all. So in this class, we'll be talking a little bit about the sacredness of memory in the digital age, the rise of digital I'm all jumbled up tonight. The rise is the Gemini new moon while I'm recording this. So if I'm like a little blah, 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 it's trust me, it's the Gemini energy in me right now. The rise of digital censorship and erasure, digital storytelling as a creative resistance, reclaiming narrative power, and the digital memory capsule as ritual, archiving as a state of sovereignty, honoring the ancestors in the future, and creating a living memory archive, or creating a living archive versus a static, or like I like to call a static archive here. Okay, I'm not gonna get too deep into this on this presentation. I just wanted to like kind of add my own clip here, a little background about myself, what kind of stumbled, I guess, incidentally, like coincidentally, I should say, into the Black Lesbian Archives. This photo here was 2 years prior to me starting the Black Lesbian Archives. It was the first lavender graduation that was at my college at the time, my university at the time, University of North Texas. Graduated at the first lavender graduation. And I'm not going to go into the story on this. If y'all want the tea story, I'll probably do another video on my, I guess, because I never really did like a coming out story, but I'll do a separate video on that. But this was from that lavender graduation. And so, which 2 years later led me into this video, this clip of, I'm not going to show this clip here, but if you want to check it out, it's The Last Lesbian Bars in America. It's a documentary by Vice. And it completely changed my life. And it's also the reason why, or one of the reasons why, I guess you should say, the spark of why Black Lesbian Archives is actually here in the first place. Shout out to Papaya Man. That's another story for another time too. But I actually met Papaya Man last year. Just met her recently last year at a exhibition that I did in Fort Lauderdale last year, and she was actually the person who sparked the Black Lesbian Archives after watching her clip on this video. So if you're watching this, girl, what's up? Hey, how you doing? Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about, like I said, this is going to be really quick. And then we'll jump into the Prezi presentation after that, so we can kind of go through it and things. So talking a little bit about the sacredness of memory in the digital age. In a world that forgets us, remembering ourselves becomes a radical act. So oral traditions, ancestral altars, digital storytelling, digital archives are not just tech tools, they're extensions of our lineage, grief, joy, and resistance. And then also talking about like electricity and internet as we know. So I put internet as we know will shift, which, you know, I've talked about this for many years now, from electricity to the internet to even like physical spaces, like us eventually needing our own, uh, you know, mailing systems and things like that, or like needing our own like community spaces where we, you know, sovereignty, you know, and I'll talk about that as well, because that's my word of the year is sovereignty, and what it means to be sovereign as a being, and also as within a collective as well here too. But I know that physical, and I don't, I want, when I say this, I don't want it to seem like digital is better than the physical. I think we should be weighing both up. I think this is a big conversation, especially in 2020, when a lot of the libraries were closing, a lot of the physical spaces in the library were closing, and we were talking about digitization versus like physical archival communities. And the reason why I'm using this Prezi presentation as a tool, it is a bridge, if you will. And why is it a bridge? Well, a lot of times, especially in our communities, especially in our personal communities, especially being Black, especially being a woman, especially being a lesbian, and then just to the POC community in general, a lot of times what happens is our ability to be able to hold. So, for example, being able to have the capacity to hold spaces when housing is, you know, we know what's going on in the economy right now. Being able to have spaces to hold our living, breathing archives sometimes can be difficult, you know, without having the necessary resources. And I'm not just talking about money, but just having the resources in order to be able to hold these particular physical archival things. So this is like a way to basically become creative in the ways in which we're holding it, in different ways that we're holding it here as well too. And digital storytelling is one of those things here. So, and when I talk about electricity and when I talk about the internet, um, what we see right now is our empire crumbling, the empire crumbling, not our empire, but the empire crumbling, which that is the America institutions, uh, capitalism, colonialism. These things are being seen for what they actually are, but they're also crumbling before our eyes. So in this space, now we're having to look at like, okay, well, what are things going to look like now, and what are things are going to look like moving forward? So I like to talk a lot about electricity, the internet as we know it. I've done a little bit of research about blockchain, and if you're interested in learning a little bit more about blockchain, and I would definitely advise you to look it up. And I know for a fact, y'all, you don't got to tell me when it comes to, there's a lot of people like, oh, well, the internet can be changed, it can be deleted, people can access it and think. Trust me, I get it. And especially with this new information that's been coming out about AI technology. Right now, we're under the guise of Pluto and Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? For those of y'all that don't know what that is, Pluto being the planet of transformation, rebirth, and also can be death and also the dark side of things as well. And it can be liberation as well. But then you have Aquarius energy, which is about the collectives, the collective consciousness, the groups, community, humanitarian services, the future, the ways we're envisioning the future, like having a visionary future forward, intellectual, but also technology. We're starting to see the tools, some of these tools that could help us, but also can hinder us at the same time. So we're having to kind of go back and forth between those things. So one of the things that I've been thinking a lot about is internet and electricity. Internet electricity is actually free. I know where they charge people for bills. It charges for bills, internet, electricity bills, but internet is actually, our electricity is actually free. Also, to being connected to the internet, it's a free thing. Electricity also runs through our bodies as well, if we weren't aware of these things. So, yeah, people discovering new ways to get free electricity. And I'm pretty sure there's people who have already discovered ways to get free electricity, but those things are being on the table. And if there are people out there who knows are inventors, please come to the front. Electricians, please come to the front. You know what I'm saying? Come to the front if you are out there. And also too, like in the internet as well too. I honestly and truly believe that we are going to be moving away from these internet companies and these electrical companies and things like that. And people are going to be starting to make people are going to start to make their own platforms, their own apps, their own media, because the media be lying to us. So we're going to see a complete, now it's going to take some time, y'all. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight, but it's going to take some time, but it's going to happen. We're going to see it. At least I believe that we'll be able to see the shift uh, as we know these certain programs and things that we've lived under the guise of which we've lived under for so many years, in decades and even centuries, if you will, for some of us. We'll be seeing the overturning of those things. So those are some of the things that you're interested in. And it doesn't have to be just internet or electricity, but if there's some like future forward vision things that you're interested in building in like smaller groups, smaller communities, future forward visionary kind of things, we're calling you to the front at this time. All right. Number two, the digital rise of censorship and erasure. So shadow banning, which for those of y'all that don't know what shadow banning is, deleted accounts, or people basically, you're basically accounts not being shown on the internet. So let's say you have a creator or somebody that you watch on Facebook or somebody that you watch on YouTube or somebody you watch on Instagram, and you used to see their stuff all the time, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, they're not, the algorithm is not pushing out their information anymore, which again, going back to, I mean, people's accounts being also deleted, algorithmic bias, which basically means that the algorithm picking up certain things and then suppressing certain things as well, and then going to, the loss of LGBTQ plus and POC histories online, which is another reason why we're here with the Black Lesbian Archives as well too, just seeing that those things happen over time. So it begs the question, Who decide what stays and what happens when our stories disappear? Okay. And also to consider this a public spell against erasure. Okay. Also thinking about what would happen if, and they will eventually, what happens if Facebook becomes shut down, Instagram becomes locked, or it becomes a space, if it necessarily doesn't fully get shut down, then you have to pay for it now to access. TikTok, we've already seen them bans. Y'all can add to this conversation as much as you would like, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm picking up. And I've also been talking about our phones as well too. Especially as we're going into what I like to call the great conversion, or going into what I like to call the mark of the beast. All right. And I know there's different terms for different contexts, but in this sense of like, you push the button. If you decide that you want to be a part of this new world order, then you get to keep the phone. But if not, then we're going to shut down your phone, and you're not going to have access to your phone. And if you don't have access to your phone, especially because we're moving into a fully digitized, or wanting to move into a fully digitized economy. And if you don't have access to your phone, and there's no paper money or no paper things that you're able to exchange, then what? Right? So this is just some things to think about moving forward. Now, I'm not saying that this is the end all be all. Okay, I'm not saying that by no means. I'm just saying these are things to start to think about, especially as we're talking about growing our communities and expanding our communities, and looking not only in the present but also in the future. Okay. And number 3, storytelling as a creative resistance, archiving as activism. Okay, looking at ourselves as archivists in a form of activism, right? Preserving our story disrupts a culture that banks on your silence. Living archives, ever growing evolutions of memory and not static history. A lot of, especially when I started this project, and just some of the conversations I've had, like around, preserving and like storytelling and things like that. And people will oftentimes come to me and be like, well, crew, I really don't have anything to really discuss or talk about and things. And I know sometimes we focus on like biopics and biographies of like celebrities or people who have been, and the work that I do with Black Lesbian Archives does focus on like organizational, like more so individuals and organizations. But it's not to say that that goes without talking about just, people who are just, everyday people, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of doing their thing on a day-to-day basis. Like, we all have stories to share, and we all have stories to tell. And also, all of our stories don't necessarily just have to be mixed up in the struggle, or like what we're doing, especially as Black women, especially as Black lesbian women, especially like our stories just being mixed up in the struggle and what we're doing for the greater collective. Don't get me wrong, that's very much so a part of us being who we are. And also what I believe is the premise of being a Black lesbian, of just having like this vision, this collective vision for something bigger in the world, something transformative in the world. But it's more than that. It's much more than that. We have our love lives. It's the things that we've been through and the things that we've experienced growing up. It's our aspirations, and I'm not just talking about material aspirations, but the things that we've created, who we are essentially, too, not just what we do, but essentially who we are. How we see the world, how we view the world, how we move into the world. You know, places that we travel, places that we've been. Things that we like. Food, music, uh, vibrancy, culture, your lineage, where you from, where you grew up, all these things that make us who we are. You know what I'm saying? So thinking about your capsule in a way that your memory capsule in a way of like, what actually truly encompasses me on a soul level. Okay. So let's go to the next slide. So going into that, reclaiming our narrative power. We've been spoken over, edited out, misnamed. So what does it mean to name yourself in your own words, in your own terms? Claiming authorship over our story and community memory, which is something I was just mentioning, or something I just talked about. When we start to be the ones that are telling our stories, when we're the ones that are putting ourselves in the space of the pen, you know what I'm saying? And we're writing, our stories and things like that out, you begin to start to consider what story that you're now telling. You're not just living life on a day-to-day basis. You're not just moving through life on autopilot, but now you're like, wow, what story do I want to tell? You become like an artist, you know what I'm saying? Painting on your own canvas. And who doesn't want to do that? You know? And regardless of where you at in life, I don't care if you're 77 years old, I don't care if you're 16 years old, whoever's viewing this, whoever's watching this, you still have a story to tell. Life has not missed you. Life has not passed you if you are still living here on this earth. Okay? All right? Just saying. And even for some of those that have passed along and are, living in other spaces and living on other planes, they also still have stories to tell and still have stories to teach us, even if they're not necessarily living in this particular or their particular vessels at this time. Okay. All right. So looking at digital memory as a capsule, as a ritual. Oh, is my screen being shared right now? Is my screen being shared? Hold on, man. I hope my screen is being shared right now. I hope it's being shared right now. Okay, it was being shared. I just had to make sure it's being shared because I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some feminine. Okay, moving along. All right. So digital memory capsule as a ritual. All right. So each capsule is like a time-stamped altar. Okay. A piece of frozen spirit, a frozen in intentionality, passed down, buried, shared, into open later. So I imagine it like this. All right. I have my own external hard drive. This is a hard drive. So basically, this external hard drive for me, I think it's like a 4 TB or 2 TB or whatever. I'm in the process of like moving my videos and audios and stuff like that to this drive here. Shout out to everybody who supported the Digital Memory Project um, fundraiser thing, because I also was able to get this drive. I'm gonna get another drive too. Um, and also this laptop here. Appreciate y'all for that. Because I'm in the process right now of digitizing the things that I have been sent and also the things that I have found online at the moment. And if you have things that you want to send, I want to say this while I have this video too. If you have things that you want to send that pertains to Black Lesbian Memory, Black Lesbian Story, outside of this digital memory capsule project, I would please ask you to do so if you will. I do have like a Google intake sheet that allows you to submit, and I will put that on. I'll post it so y'all can know where to submit and stuff like that after it. But anyway, so thinking about this capsule as a time-stamped altar, a piece of spirit frozen in intentionality, past, burn out later. So imagine somebody comes and they have, if it's not necessarily this external hard drive, maybe they have like a little mini hard drive or whatever. And let's say somebody takes that particular hard drive and they pass it down to the next person. And they're like, oh, this was, I don't know, if it's not necessarily somebody that was in your blood family, this maybe could be like a soul tribe member. You know what I mean? And this is like, I don't know, this was your Auntie Grace. This is your Auntie Grace. You know what I'm saying? And you pass it down and then you put it in and you get this whole story of who this person was, how she lived her life, what she was doing in her everyday life, some of the things that she felt was necessary and important to her, some of the music that was also attached to her memory capsule and things like that, some maybe love notes and letters that she left to her capsule and things, just anything. So look at it as like you can make this however you want to make this, y'all. Like, get creative. Like, I want y'all to send me y'all capsules as well, because I want to see what it is that y'all come up with and what it is y'all's creative. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end. So then archiving as an act of sovereignty. Okay, so going back to that word sovereignty, digital sovereignty, owning your own story, platform, and access point. What does it mean to control the container and not just the content? I'm going to say it again. What does it mean to control the container and not just the content? So this is us putting our own narratives and our own stories in our hands versus, for example, i.e., maybe posting something from, like, let's say an Instagram that could literally be deleted tomorrow, or literally an account can be deleted tomorrow, and all your information, all your photos, all your pictures, all your videos, all your reels, everything is gone. You know what I mean? So this puts us at the, like I said, the authorship's seat in this preservation of what it is that we want to share and what it is that we want to tell in this time. I can only do so much, y'all. Like, don't get me wrong, I love doing the interviews. I love, I loved over the years getting to know different communities, different collectives. I like it's been really dope to be able to do. But I think that this project for me, just within this capsule in mind, like this puts us in the driver's seat now to share our stories in our own words, in our own language that we want, and create something that we want to share versus like, me getting y'all stories and then being able to like kind of tell them in a way or share them in these different ways. Which, I pride myself on being a great storyteller, but again, this puts y'all in this space of the author yourself. Okay, so living archives. And this is my great grandmother, by the way. My nanny, as I like to call her, nanny, Miss Kari, Miss Kari, Miss Kari, Miss Kari, right now. So honoring the ancestors in the future, archive not just our own lives, but ancestral echoes and future seeds. If your descendants open this capsule 100 years from now, what would you want them to know? Okay, but what would you want them to know about you? All the things about you, from things that are so small to the grandiose things about yourself. And then also, too, community as a living archive, reflections, how we archive each other through memory, witnessing, and shared story. Whose story do you carry that hasn't been recorded yet? And what happens when you tell it now? Okay. So this is just, I ran through it pretty quick in my classes. I kind of took a little bit more time to kind of talk about these things, but I just wanted to kind of like start to jog your minds, jog your memory, get you kind of thinking about not only present but future things that could be coming up in the uh, collective, because I do believe that, under the guise of Pluto and Aquarius, we do have some major transits coming on here. There are going to be communities that are going to be breaking away, okay, with outside of the system, the current system that we live in. If you're one of those people, and I'm talking specifically to you, then if this is specifically for you, and for those that don't, it maybe not your time, but I'm assuming that the people that are here are starting to think of what it's going to be like now into the future. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this before we get into this presentation. Ask yourself at this time, what role do you play within your community? And you could play one role, you could play many roles. What role do you play? What role do you contribute into your own community? Okay. You know, are you somebody who bakes the bread every morning? You know what I'm saying? Are you the person that's teaching the kids? You know what I'm saying? Are you teaching people how to plant, how to grow, how to build a farm? Are you taking care of the animals? Are you teaching? Are you healing? You know what I'm saying? Are you building a boat? All right. What role do you play within your own community, and what can you contribute to that community? And also, what is one thing on a day-to-day basis? I like to talk about decolonizing the mind. What is something that you can do right now or over time or maybe once a week that you can do to move away or break away from the subtle systems that we're in? If that's something that you are interested in and curious in doing. All right. So this, for example, could be, I don't know, maybe hosting like a barter and trade event. You know what I'm saying? Where people are trading goods without capitalism. All right. Like that can be an example. Maybe you have somebody in the community. I know everybody, I'm already hearing people say, I don't really eat everybody food. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Are you cooking for people? Maybe you the cook once a week and you make plates and send the plates out to, your community, your immediate community, things like that. What role do you play within your community? Start asking yourself that. And I want y'all to take at least a step, either a step a day, as much as you can give, or at least once a week to something that you can do to start to build into your community spaces. Okay. And that's what I want to leave y'all with. Now, like I said at the beginning, if you are interested in, sending your story, I would like to hear everybody's stories. I'm definitely, open for you to send your particular capsule once you do go through this. I'm going to share, though, if you're interested in sharing your memory capsule to the greater platform. I'm definitely interested in hearing Black lesbian stories. So if you are a Black lesbian and you want to share your story to the public, I will definitely be interested and curious. There's also a bigger kind of project that I'm kind of linking this to, which is History Pen. For those of y'all that don't know what History Pen is, I will also put that link below so you can kind of get a little bit more, or link. You'll see the link on the description of this particular class that you can go to and see a little bit more about the History Pen and what that project is about. I will do another video on History Pen, but I wanted to use this as like the start of that. If that's something you want to do, you don't have to if you don't want to. Also, what is something else? Oh, there will be a memory capsule prompt, journal prompt thing. It's like I think 2 or 3 pages attached to this. So when you download this, you'll also be downloading that. And you don't have to use the prompt if you don't want to, but this is just some questions that you can ask to kind of get your memory jogging. If you want to include this in your memory capsule, if you don't want to include this in your memory capsule, it's totally fine. But please leave me some comments, send me some emails, reach out to me and let me know if this has impacted you in any way. If there's anything that you want to add to the conversation, I would love to share or just have that kind of conversation in whatever capacity that I can. And yeah, just let me know. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Let's get into the Prezi presentation. All right, so this Prezi presentation, that picture that you've seen of me in college at UNT, I actually started learning how to use Prezi when I was in college. It was the first time I got introduced to it, and I was like, finally getting out of this boring, PowerPoint presentation slide. This is definitely something that is a little bit more visually, aesthetically pleasing, okay? And it's a little bit more interactive. And it's something that I mess with. I like it. I appreciate the platform itself. And like I said, y'all, it's really easy to use. So let's talk about the different tools that you can use. But first, before we do that, I'm going to get out of this Prezi presentation and then jump back into this Prezi presentation. But let me show you what it's going to look like. So first and foremost, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to go ahead and create your Prezi presentation or sign in. It's free. Prezi is free to use unless you want to upgrade. But it's a free presentation that you can use here. Oop, let me see. I have it on here. Yeah, it's a free presentation that you can use on here to log in. All you have to do is put your email address, information, password. It's going to send you a link, and then you'll log in. And this is what the first thing that you're going to see here. Like I said, if y'all do have any kind of questions about this, please let me know. There's also, if I can't get to you, with this Prezi presentation, there's also YouTube tutorials that can kind of help you navigate if I'm not giving y'all what it's supposed to give. But I hope that I'm giving y'all what y'all supposed to get, what I'm supposed to get to y'all. You feel me? So what you're going to do first and foremost is click new presentation. All right. So when you go ahead and do it, I usually start from scratch. Some people start from templates. I've started, presentations from templates, and you can also, if you want to convert it to PowerPoint, you also can too. You're going to go to start from scratch here. This is the start from scratch that I personally use here. Okay, I don't know if y'all can see that. I don't think you can see that. Let me make sure. Hold on. What y'all can see. Okay, no, you can't see that. Okay, so basically what it's going to do is it's going to take you to the new presentation here. It's going to start you off kind of like what I had here, but I'm like, dang, I'm like, I kind of want to use the one that I already have so y'all can kind of see what it looks like for real. Because, yeah, we're going to start with the one I already have. And if we need to delete and start back, we'll start. Let's just do create from template. So this is what you're going to do with create from template. So y'all could choose through all of these. Wait a minute. You can't see that. Okay, let me show you real quick so you can see. 1 second. Okay, here we go. All right, now you can see it. So these are all the templates that you could choose. The one I'm using is this blank presentation right here, blank, but you could choose any kind of presentations that you want. There's so many different creative ways that you can do this. I mean, the sky really truly is the limit. Okay. But we go ahead and start from scratch. Now I am going to click this so you can kind of see what this template looks like when you do start from scratch. But I am going to go back into the presentation, y'all, because like I said, it's really not super duper difficult to come up with. I think the side piece is a little bit more difficult to kind of arrange and come up with here, but this is what you're going to see in your initial presentation. If you're wanting to let's just start with like the zoom in, zoom out part here too. Or let's go over the tools first and foremost. So this hand tool that you see at the bottom right here, let me make sure y'all are still in my frame. Make sure y'all still in my frame, shawty. All right, for sure. That's on my frame. Okay. Sit this down. Okay, so the first thing that you want to start off with here on your presentation. Y'all gonna zoom me in? What's happening? All right, this little hand tool at the bottom right here. This is what you can use to kind of move your presentation around. Okay. Now, if you want to like kind of zoom out, like start from the beginning and kind of zoom out, all you got to do right here is click this home button. This mouse button, you really don't need it. It just depends if you're like using different types of mouse, but you really don't need this navigation device. If you want to use it, you can, but you really don't need it. These tools right here, this previous and next, when you want to start your presentation, you're going to go ahead and click on that. You want to go to your next slide, you're going to click on the next slide here. You want to click on the next slide, you go here. You want to go back, previous slide. Again, you want to go back out, overview, boom, bada, bam, bam, bang. All right. You want to do a little bit of zoom in right here, this little thing right here on the bottom. You do a little zoom in, zoom out. But you got to make sure that this hand tool is not clicked. Sometimes I get it twisted too. Got to make sure this hand tool is not clicked, and then you can do like a little, okay. Let's not show out in front of company, okay? Let's not do that. All right, here we go. Why y'all do this when I'm trying to do a presentation? Y'all always trying to, okay. It's a little slow. It's a little slow. We're just gonna push to the home. This is where you can zoom in and out. We're just gonna push the home button so y'all can see. All right. So that is kind of like the gist of that. I'm gonna go back to in a minute the presentation that I did, but I just want to show y'all, like I said, from step to step how it's gonna be looking like. All right. Now, when you talk over here at the style button, now you know that little background photo that I had for the Prezi photo, you can change that to whatever you want to change it to. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's click this background photo. You see that it's blank right here. You're going to go ahead and click upload image, upload image. You're going to scroll and find which image that you want to use. Let me see if I can find the image that we had here. I don't see it. All right, yeah, here it goes. So we're gonna go ahead and click it, and now you see that this is the image that we have here now, and it sets the tone for all the rest of your, basically for the rest of your presentation as well here too. All right, so that's the background photo that we're gonna choose for that. We also have colors here as well, but if you really want to use colors here, you don't have to necessarily do that. All you gotta do for real is double click on whatever it is that you want to change, and you see this little toolbox here. You're going to go to this little A type, and then you can change the color. Now we're going to do white because it kind of brings the background and things like that out, or we could see it because we can't see the black type color and things like that. So we're going to turn this into white, or whatever color you want to change it to. Right now I'm just going to do some colors that kind of pop. So if we want to go into here, we can do that. You can also too add media, which we're going to get into in a second. But what I do want to show y'all is if we want to zoom into this particular presentation, you see how it's labeled 1 here at the side, and then you see it's 1 here over at the other side. This is going to be which slide that you're looking at this time. So now we've zoomed into this. Now we just let's say we want to do like BLA, Memory Capsule. All right, go ahead and type that thing on in. All right, we say spring 2025. All right, simple, easy, lemon peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, now we're gonna move to the next one. You're gonna go ahead. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and delete this so I can show y'all how to put a photo in this particular slide instead. You could leave the text if you want to. You could delete the text if you want to. All you gotta do is click, then you can hit backspace, click, backspace if you want to. Now we can add text. Let's add a text if we deleted something, we can add text. You're gonna add text right here. Click it, add what you want. We're gonna say BLA memory capsule. I know for some of y'all it might be like, okay, crew, this is kind of repetitive. But for those of y'all that might be a little, technically inept, I just want to show y'all, give y'all a little extra, a little something here too. All right. Now, if you want to change the font, you can change the font. There's different many fonts that you can choose from. You can also upload fonts if you want to. Not going to go into that today. But if you would like to upload a font, you could definitely upload fonts and stuff like that here as well too. Let's say, for example, you have a video or something like that you want to show. All you got to do is double click your mouse. You can use this little link file right here, and you can link it to any URL that you want to. All right. Now, if you don't necessarily want to link it, and I always recommend this too, because let's say that you upload it and you have a YouTube link or something like that. Let's say that YouTube link don't work no more. You're not going to be able to show that video. So what I would personally recommend is to go ahead and use the media to upload like a video. Now, it's going to ask you to either upload it in an embedded file from YouTube, or you can upload your own file if you would like as well too. It's totally up to you. So you decide kind of how you want to, upload the file, whatever the case may be. Boop, 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 bam, and then go from there. All right. So let me see. I'm not personally going to upload a video right now, but if you want to upload a video, just know that it's there for you to be able to do. All right. Let me just show you something real quick. Let me just show you something. Like, for example, let's say I said searching for the last lesbian bars in America, and I want to put that in there. So embedded YouTube, boom, and then we're going to push insert. So boom, now you have your whole video sitting right there on your, what we like to call a planet, or page topic, I'm sorry. So we're going to go ahead and delete that so you can see that there. Okay, are we done? All right, now if you want to backspace, let's say I clicked this and you want to backspace, or you did something and you want to kind of go back, this little area right here is like redo, undo, undo or redo. So I'm going to click a couple times to get this off of here. Boom. Capiche, you out of here. You go. All right. Now, if you want to add like extra shapes, you want to get, you know what I'm saying? You want to kind of go into other things, you can. You can add like a little shape. You could even change the color of the shape if you want to something different. Oop, not that one. You can use this one. You can change this to something different as well. Here too, you can link something here if you want to. Like if somebody clicks on it, you can link a photo here too if you would like to. Oh, let me see if I could do that too. Yeah. If you would like to link a photo, you could definitely link a photo here. I'll take this off here. But it's up to you if you want to add shapes. You can add shapes over text, things like that. Now, if you want to use this thing here, it's called a story block. All right. So let's say you want to add like a timeline of events that happen at this time. You can use a timeline. You can use a world map. You could do lists. You could do all types of things on here, notes, mock-ups, whatever the case may be. In this case, let's say you wanted to add like a cool little timeline to your chart. All you got to do is click, drag, and release. Let go. Okay. And here is your timeline of events. So let's say you have like different time and space of, I don't know, throughout my childhood. This is when I was 7. This was when I was 13. This is when I was. You can put that on here as well here too. Okay. Now there is a way to zoom this here. Hold on, let me see. I think is it the page? Yeah. Okay. So usually what happens is the timeline, usually I don't know why, like used to in Prezi, like when you would drop a timeline, it would basically create the rest of the blocks, which is when I say the blocks, these little frames over here, and basically they'd be able to like zoom into each frame. Okay, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay, so let's say this little timeline you see me clicking right here. Let's zoom in real quick. Remember, take the hand, drag. Don't click it without taking that hand, because I promise you it's going to take everything from this thing off or drag it all the way to the side. So you unclick it. Let's say you want to make this 1938 text into another frame, which a frame would constitute for this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can rearrange them if you want to too. You could put 3 up here, 4 down here, 4, 5. You could rearrange them how you want, so it goes into whatever sequence that you're trying to go into. So for this particular box right here, let's say you want them to jump from place to place to place to place. So you're going to click it, okay, the box, all right, click the box, all right, and then, okay, y'all don't make a fool out of me right now. Okay, you click the box, and then you're going to click it and make it into a frame. Now, the frame is going to go all the way at the bottom. Now, what you want to do is pull this frame up to the top, all right, where it was at. Hold on, let me see. You put that thing right there. So 2, 3. That's not what we were supposed to do. Hold on. Because I think it made it into the whole frame. Okay, let's delete this frame. If you want to delete a frame, let's say you want to get it out of here. That was a good learning lesson. All right, you're going to take it and then you're going to delete it. So this little 3 dots right here, and then boom, delete it. All right. So what it's doing is trying to make this whole thing into a frame, but really in actuality, we just want this little piece over here. Let me see. Are you gonna do what it make it do what it do, girl, or no? No? No. Okay, so it's not letting me do what it do for this particular frame, but let me try to make this shape and see if it'll let me do it now. No, it's not letting me do it. Why y'all acting like this towards me today? It's not letting me do it. Okay, well, let me see. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Okay, so what we're gonna do with the story blocks, or not the story blocks, we're gonna go to more, because this is how we're gonna add it on here. We're gonna go to more, and then we're going to add a planet topic. We're gonna rearrange this frame to go up here. And now, or actually we're gonna put it under here to 3 to 4. So now we can put this little frame, let's say we wanna put it right here. So now what is gonna happen is, if you go back to 2, click 2, it's going to zoom back out to this whole frame. But if you want to go like over here to this frame with the circle, you click here and boom, it goes straight to this particular frame. Now, like I said, essentially what Prezi used to do is it would have frame topics for each one. But for some reason, I don't know, it's been acting real fishy. And it's been a couple of maybe like a year since I did my last one, and I'm pretty sure they've had updates, but it ain't doing what it's supposed to be. It ain't giving what she's supposed to be gave. Okay. So we're gonna go back to the parent. All right, and then go back to this timeline here. But that's just an example if you want to add that here. Okay, let's not click the whole thing. Okay. Also, too, if you want to link, let's say you want to link like a frame, again, you can do the link button. You can ungroup if you don't want them all like basically meshing with each other. If you want to move a piece or piece, so let's go back. So if we don't have it, let's say we want to move this whole frame, you can move this whole frame. If you don't, you can ungroup it and move like piece by piece with this ungroup button here. Let me see. So we're going to take this timeline out, and then we're going to go back into story blocks. So this is just an example. Or we're going to go back into frames. I'm sorry, y'all. Can I grab you, please? No, let me grab you. Hold on. Here we go. All right. So there that goes. So you don't always have to use this planet topic, page topic on this side. You can also do here if you would like to. You can even draw a frame. That's what I was trying to do. I'm like, why is it not letting me just do my frame? Okay, let's go back to that. Because I was like, I must be tripping. It used to be like a little, yeah, whole nother conversation for another time. So let's go back here. Because I'm like, for some reason, why is it not letting me do my thing here? Okay. So let's say we want to make this into a frame, this little particular piece right here. So this little button right here on this add frame, we can draw a frame. All right. So we can click here, boom. You can drag it if you want to a little bit more. Yes, I see. Thank you. Okay, we don't need the whole thing. Okay, thank you. Yeah, why y'all acting out in front of company? Okay. All right, so here's what we're doing right here. So you can drag that frame here. And so what ends up happening is, let's say we're going down from and we're going to rearrange this frame here. So instead of it being number 1 after the memory capsule beginning, we're going to do it after the timeline here. So we're going to go back out. And now we can jump from timeline to timeline. So then we click here and it goes straight here. Then if you want to create another frame for this particular timeline, okay, go back to that timeline, click back to the timeline, draw another frame. And put that frame, let's say we want to put it over here. Then you can adjust your frame if you would like, and then you could put that frame right on over there. So what it's going to do, and then you can rearrange it up under the next frame. So it's going to jump from this frame, then it's going to jump to this frame, and then you can do it for the next frame, and the next frame, and the next frame. Again, draw frame. Now, if you just want to go plain and just do another frame, like another frame that doesn't have to do with like this timeline jump, you can just click add frame. Okay. So let's say you want to, we'll zoom out of here. Let's say you want another box that's not necessarily included in these right here that you see. And you're like, I want to add another one that that's not within the guides of these frames. So you could just add a whole new frame to your presentation. So what's going to happen is, so let's say we jump from this frame, number 4, then we're going to jump to number 5, and boom, we're at this blank frame or whatever the case may be. Okay. So if y'all get it, I hope y'all get it. I hope y'all understand. Frames basically allow you to add that play space to like jump from space to space to space. Story blocks kind of give you like a design kind of frame that you can add, and it could be like any kind of frame, like I said, that you can add, from maps to all types of stuff. And you can get real creative with it. That's why I said, that's why I love Prezi, because you could just, it's so much that you can do. Okay. Also too, I wanted to add that I did not mention in media, not only videos, also image. If you want to add like some type of image to this capsule, you can as well. 1 second, yeah. So let's say you want to, let's go to this frame, the beginning frame. Or no, let's go to another frame. Let's say we at this frame. Let's say you want to add something to the frame. Media, image. And then you're going to click upload. And then from upload, we are going to choose whatever image that we want to choose. I'm trying to figure out which one I want. Here. Boom. And now we have it. And you can adjust that frame or adjust the photo image. Like I said, make sure you have that little hand mark off because it will not click. So something like that, if that's what you want to put on your frame or your block. All right, so page topics, we're going to go ahead and click on that. Let's say you have a certain topic that you want to talk about on your page. This is like the main topic. And then when we talk about the planet topic, it's like the topic within the topic. Okay. So this is like the main, this is the topic within the topic. All right. So let me click on this topic page real quick. So here we are. And we went into this particular topic. So let's say BLA memory capsule once again. All right. And then if we type in like a planet capsule, I'm sorry, not planet capsule. Why do I keep saying planet capsule? If we type in a, oh, not a story block. Where's my, not my animations. Okay. Why does it not let me? Okay. Let me get back out of here. Because usually, okay, we went into that capsule. Okay, and we go back. Wait, did I choose the wrong frame? Oh, that's why. I'm like, wait, what? Okay. The page, think of this, the page topic is the main, the planet topic is like a sub of that, like a under topic of the page topic. Okay. So, and if you want to add another page topic, you can add to this page topic. So subtopic, 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 subtopic. Planet, okay, think about this. Page is the main, planet is the sub. Page is the main, planet is the sub. So let's say you want to add another topic after this topic. You're going to click planet topic because it's another subtopic. So it's going to keep going deeper, 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 and deeper. Okay. So BLA memory. Let's add another planet topic. Boom. Over here on name here. You can also change the colors of these backgrounds as well too if you want. So I'm going to show you what it's going to look like after this. So let's say we do a gold. So here we are at 11. This is going to be into 12, 13. Boom. Going into another topic. And you can keep going into different topics or breaking down the topic as you wish. And then if you want to go back out, you're going to click the topic before or the frame before. And then you can just go back to the parent, which is the main or this home piece right here. And then zoom into your frames and go back to whatever frame you wish to go back to. I hope this is making sense, y'all. I've done Prezi so many times, but it's so different. Like explaining it out loud. But I hope that y'all are like understanding this information. Like I said, you can make it as simple as you want to. You don't have to do all of the topics and things like that. The most that you need to know, the most that you really, really need to understand is how to create these frames. Or if you want to add another frame, and then just like basic stuff like putting in the captions here. If you want to add media, you can add media, videos. If you want to add audio, you can also add audio as well too, and add music onto the audio and things. But I feel like the templates personally to me help you kind of get a good start and help you get a good grasp on the project itself, especially if you're just beginning and you're like this kind of like overwhelming. Just use what you already have. You don't have to add the timelines and all that kind of stuff. I'm just being extra, you know what I'm saying? But you don't have to add all that stuff in it if you choose not to, you know what I'm saying? So don't feel like you have to add those extra stuff. Just use the template and play with whatever it is you already have. So, you have this, you could put an image in the back there if you want to. You can move to the next frame and put stuff there. You know what I'm saying? So you just use what you already have, use what you got. And then once you start playing with it and kind of getting a better grasp on the platform, then you can start doing other things. But this is just like the basics, right? So for this, for example, if you want to change, just click on this, change it to another photo. You can definitely change it to another photo if you want to. Let me see. Let me go back to this so you could just kind of see how it'll change. Let me see. Let's see. Yep. So you can change it into another thing. Again, back to topic. You can change the font, things like that. So do y'all understand? I hope y'all understand where I'm coming from and where I'm getting at. I wanted to kind of show y'all the basics of this presentation and this project, of just how easy it is to navigate this frame, this blueprint. But again, if y'all have any questions about how to get in here and change anything or add anything, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and I will try to help you as best as I can. Remember, again, these frames can be rearranged however you want them to be rearranged. You can draw frames for certain things if you need to, if you want to add to put into your presentation. But other than that, it's pretty simple and clean. And like I said, if you didn't really necessarily get it from how I'm talking about it, there are also 2 Prezi tutorials that can help you kind of navigate the platform as well. So again, I do have a general prompt memory capsule thing to help you just kind of jog some questions, Q&A answers, things like that. If that's something that you want, it comes included with this presentation, this project, if you will. Other than that, I hope that y'all have enjoyed this presentation. I hope y'all have enjoyed the Memory Capsule project. I want to thank everybody who came to the Memory Capsule project, and just meeting y'all and just kind of hearing y'all's different perspectives of things. It was very enlightening, very enriching, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I don't know necessarily if I'm going to do the Memory Capsule project again this summer per se, but I definitely will be getting into storytelling this summer. So we're going to be doing classes hopefully in July. I'm still trying to get kind of like formulate. Let me take this off real quick. Let me see. I don't know if it. Oh, I don't know if it was. Hopefully, y'all seen all that. I hope that y'all seen all that, because I'm gonna be tight if y'all didn't see all that. But hopefully in July, I will have more on the storytelling things. But I'll definitely keep y'all posted and updated on what that's gonna look like in the future and things. If you haven't already subscribed to the Substack, definitely make sure you subscribe to the Substack. I've been posting weekly, just trying to post like once a week to keep y'all kind of updated and sharing and things like that. Please feel free to send me your presentations, your memory capsule projects and things. I would love to see what you come up with and what you added. And yeah, I will most definitely see y'all on the next one. And also, if you're interested, if you have somewhere that you would like me to come and do this presentation, it's a little bit longer, especially like talking points and things like that. But if you have somewhere that you would like me to come speak or do this kind of presentation, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from y'all. And like I said, stay up. All right, we got this. I know it's a lot going on right now, but we got this. Just keep thinking of like creative ways of what our communities are looking like now in present moment, and also what our communities are going to be looking like, and your specific community is going to look like in the future, and also just individually. Y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other. You know, we got to start to look at who's the common denominator in all of this, and that's the energy that we need to bring to the this is what the energy that we need to bring future forward. All right. So you already know what it is. It's crew checking in, checking out, without a doubt. I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.